I thought my life with Danielle was perfect. I was married for 7 years, we had a beautiful home, 2 amazing kids, and a bond I believed was unbreakable. Wow. She was my high school sweetheart, my rock, my everything. But a single message on her phone shattered that illusion into a million pieces. It was a late night. She was asleep, and her phone buzzed. I glanced over, thinking it was just a notification, but the preview read, "Can't stop thinking about last night, my love." My heart stopped. It wasn't for me.
Ow.
My world tilted on its axis. Last night, we were at a family dinner. Who was this person? A storm of questions flooded my mind, each one more painful than the last. With trembling hands, I unlocked her phone. I knew her password. We had no secrets, or so I thought. What I found was a graveyard of our marriage. Months of messages, pictures, plans. All with a man named Mark, a coworker of hers I'd met a few times. He was married too. They'd been meeting at hotels, his apartment, even our own home. When I was away on business trips, the details were graphic, the words they exchanged full of a passion I hadn't seen from Danielle in years. I felt like I was going to be sick. I sat there in the dark, the screen's glow illuminating my tears. Every "I love you," she had said to me, felt like a lie. Every hug, every kiss, a betrayal. The most crushing part was reading how she complained about me to him. She called me predictable, boring, said our life felt like a cage. To him, she was adventurous and free. I didn't recognize the woman in those texts. That night, I didn't sleep. I just sat there, a hollowed-out version of the man I was hours before, rereading the evidence of my broken life. The love of my life was a stranger, and our perfect world was a lie she had carefully constructed. The next morning, I acted like nothing was wrong. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I smiled, made breakfast for the kids, and kissed Danielle goodbye as she left for work. But inside, I was a raging inferno of betrayal and pain. I knew I couldn't confront her, not yet. An emotional explosion would only give her control. No, this required a plan. If she found me predictable and boring, I was about to become the most unpredictable man she'd ever known. My first call was to a lawyer. I explained the situation, the evidence I had, and my desire for a swift, clean exit. He was methodical and calm, outlining everything I needed to do. Separate our finances, document everything, secure assets. It was cold, calculated, and exactly what I needed. For the next 2 weeks, I became a ghost in my own life. I opened a new bank account and started quietly moving my half of our savings. I made copies of all our financial documents, the deed to the house, car titles, everything. I gathered the text messages and photos from her phone, saving them to a secure cloud drive. Every action felt like a small victory, a step towards reclaiming my life from the rubble she had created. I watched her, this woman I once adored, living her double life. She'd come home, kiss me, and ask about my day, all while planning her next secret rendezvous with Mark. The hypocrisy was breathtaking. She'd smile at me, but her eyes were distant, already somewhere else, with someone else. The hardest part was the kids. Lily was 5 and Jake was 3. They were my entire world, and the thought of them being caught in this crossfire was excruciating. But I knew staying in a marriage built on deceit was worse. I had to be strong for them. I spent every spare moment with them, soaking in their innocent laughter. Their unconditional love was the only thing that kept me sane. Danielle seemed to notice my increased attention to them, but she probably just saw it as me being a good, predictable husband, freeing up more of her time for her affair. She had no idea I was building a case to ensure I would be their primary caregiver. The day I chose to confront her was our 8th anniversary. Ironic, I know. I let her believe we were going out for a fancy dinner. She got dressed up, looking stunning in a new dress, probably bought with our money to impress her lover. When I told her we needed to talk first, her smile faltered for just a second. We sat down at the dining room table, the same table where we'd shared thousands of family meals. I looked her straight in the eye and said, "Danielle, I know about you and Mark." The color drained from her face. It was the first time in weeks I had seen a genuine emotion from her, pure, unadulterated panic. She immediately started denying it. "What are you talking about, Chad? Mark from work? That's insane." But I didn't get angry. I calmly slid a single printed page across the table. It was one of the more explicit text exchanges, complete with a selfie she had sent him. Her denial stopped. The silence was deafening. Then came the tears, the apologies, the excuses. It was a mistake. She didn't know what she was thinking. She still loved me. It meant nothing. She swore it was over and that she'd do anything to fix us. She expected me to yell, to break down, and then, eventually, to forgive her. She thought I was that predictable husband she complained about. That's when I slid a second stack of papers across the table. This time, it wasn't text messages. It was divorce papers, already filed. Her eyes widened in disbelief. "What is this?" she whispered. "This is my plan," I said, my voice steady. "While you were planning your lunch dates, I was planning my future. A future without you in it." I explained everything. The new bank account, the copies of the financials, the documented evidence of her affair, which in our state would have a significant impact on the divorce settlement. I told her I had already secured a new apartment for myself and the kids and that I was filing for primary custody. Her shock turned to anger. She accused me of being sneaky, of plotting behind her back. The audacity was almost comical. "You mean like you did?" I asked. The fight she wanted to have never happened. There was nothing to argue about. I had all the cards. I had outplanned the planner. She pleaded. She begged. She promised to go to counseling. She said we could get through this for the kids. The time for we ended the first time you chose him over us, I replied. This is about what's best for the kids now, and that's not a home where one parent lies and cheats on the other. In the end, she had no choice but to accept it. The evidence was overwhelming, and her position was indefensible. My lawyer was brilliant, and we secured a settlement that was fair but firm. Got the house, primary custody of the kids, and she got a harsh reality check. The last I heard, Mark's wife had also found out, and he had left Danielle to try and save his own marriage. She was left with nothing but the consequences of her choices. It wasn't about revenge, not really. It was about self-preservation. It was about protecting my children and my own sanity. I rebuilt my life from the ashes of her betrayal, stronger and more aware of my own worth. It was the hardest journey of my life, but on the other side, I found peace. And I learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to walk away. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, remember your strength. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.